Prem Simula Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Whilst they're doing puja, bear with them. Remember, as we're getting ready to go into the second to last Bhagavad discourse, sometimes in Bhagavad you will see, let me say, a break from the normal trend of puja schedule. We're doing plenty more prayers, it look like. A Bhagavad in English is a tool. You're going to hear in this discourse where it's explaining how to use a different tool to get the help you're looking for. Too often people is have problem, but me I know how to fix my problem. So Bhagavad is teach you with knowledge how to do what it is you want to do. How to fix, I have a trouble, but not everybody had the same trouble like me. So when the person come, you take the time, let me say, what sacrificing my time for? Something they go talk, or by the way they go say, that will benefit you. In this case, we made the decision not to do the Govardhan Puja on Thursday, but to do it today, because more people are from work, more people home, and they'll get the chance to do it. Plus, Tuesday had some really bad weather, that a lot of people who were coming from a distance did not get to do it. And because of the moon, how the moon finish, today have a little benefit if you get to do it. So we're making time so that you get to do your prayer, so the blessing and the benefit is for you. If everything become rush, let me finish, then what we do the prayers for? So everybody bear with me. We will start reading just now, but to give you a little hint of where we're going. You just hear people talk about yoga and breathing and all kind of different practice. It mentioned in the Gita. But how that breathing will help me in prayers, I does not understand that too much. So today we're going to talk about that and where that whole history come from. So we could walk away learning. Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Sitaram. For those of you viewing with us, this is our 20th session of Bhagavad. At this time, let's all stand as we begin with Arti. Today I need some help as we've been going. So I have Pani Krsna with me today. Pani Krsna is the person who taught me every good thing I learned in this life when it comes to prayers. And by the grace of God, he just still bailed me out and helped me. Pani, go in and help me sing the Arti, because I really can't make it. Everybody put your hands together. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam Deepam grihana devesham Trailokya timirapaham.
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती.
Together everybody. जय जय.
भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती. जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को. ये अमर ग्रंथ, ये मुक्ति पंथ, ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला. ये अमर ग्रंथ, ये पंचम वेद निराला, नव ज्योति जगाने वाला. हरिगान यही वरदान, यही जग की मंगल की आरती, पापियों को पाप से. बोल भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती। ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत, श्रापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला। ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत, श्रापों को मिटाने वाला, हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला। हरि गान यही वरदान यही है, सुख करनी है दुख हरनी, ये मधुसूदन की आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती। भगवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से। भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को ये मधुर बोल जग फंड खोल, सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला। ये मधुर बोल जग फंड सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला। श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही, श्री राम यही घनश्याम, प्रभु की महिमा की आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती। जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है। जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती, पापियों को पाप से है तारती, पापियों को पाप से है
तारती. Whilst they wrapping up the arati, let's say our prayers together. Together, everybody. Om Gajananam Kapeta Jumbo Uma Sutam Sho Namami Viganeshwara Sarvamangalamagalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Narayani Namostute Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Urvarukamiva Bannanat Om Namo Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudev. One more time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Everybody, please have your seat. In our last session, we were in chapter 27 of book 3 of Bhagavad. And in it, Lord Vishnu takes a form by the name of Kapil. And this is when life upon the earth is now propagating. Lord Vishnu in that family, people like Ansuya Devi, Shanti, 9 sisters are born that are going to get married to 9 munis. That will bring about fruition, families, genetic diversity, etc. The father in the family, great son of, grandson of Lord Brahma, after having all his kids, Lord Vishnu manifested. He did not take birth, he manifested in the house. He gets to meet with the father, and then the father says, I've achieved everything. He bows and he leaves. So in the home, Devahuti, the mother, and Kapil have been talking about prayers. And in this, it was a funny reading, because it is the first time Lord Vishnu says, do not celebrate where I took form. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time studying I born in this village, this area, etc. Don't worry about the earth. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. When you think about what we did recently with the Sri Ram Murti, what happened was everybody started, there was a resurgence in the interest of the city of Ayodhya. So much interest, it justified building a complete airport. So people want to go on Tirat now, and the same place that not many people were going historically. Now Ayodhya has become a tourism hub once again. He says, don't do that. Don't study the moment about the day, the time. Krishna Janam is Friday. Everybody is looking for that Ashtami, that Tithi. Everybody is looking for the 12 o'clock midday hour in Ram Janam, 12 o'clock in the day. They are looking out for that time. Don't study Amurti. He says, Ma, I don't want to be emulated. I don't want to be studied. I don't want to be worshipped. So, the typical person does not have a Kapil Muni Murti in their temple. But it is a form, an early form of Lord Vishnu. He says the person will study the land, they will study the time, they will study my story, but they will not study the message. You listen to different things, the color of Ram's dhoti, how he left the boat to get a wife, the cry to go and find a wife. But there's something called Ram Gita in Ramayana, where Sri Ram himself is talking. Is an excerpt, but it is about maybe 7 chaupai, roughly, give or take. But nobody studies what the message of Ram is. Everybody, tomorrow we're going to do different passages from Gita and Mahatyam. If somebody asks you, think what I'm telling you, consider what I'm saying. Remember, Bhagwat is a Gyan Yag, to only give teaching, knowledge, etc. Out of all the book the Hindu have, how come the Gita, watch this one, how come the Gita alone is pocket size? The 100 years, this is the Saptashati where the Yadevi mantra come from. The 100 years where Durga tells Shiva, I have children. When everybody want to check book, who it is talking in Patra? Durga telling Shiva, I had children, long story short, and I had trouble. How to help them? And Shiv tells them, on this day, let the person fast, let it do this job, let it do this, that, and the other. And they'll be able to overcome it. But you don't see this in pocket size. So he says, in Gita Ganga Jagayatri mantra, this becomes my body. Wherever this is, going on here, all the Tirat, all the place you want to worship the Ayodhya, it is right here. Keep it, read it, chant it, give it in dawn, and you'll get the blessing. Prem Saula Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Before we go into where They continue to talk today, and I thought this was a very interesting discussion. The next chapter from where we leave off. So before we read this, because this is totally different now to what we practice, but you hear about it. Let me do it somewhere on. Sit down, come on. Everybody sit upright, put your hands together. Close your eyes, be honest with yourself. God, I had trouble home, and I'm going to listen to this Bhagwat. What I'm about to hear and learn could positively impact myself through my prayer. Help me to remember, just by practicing the Shravanam of listening to this book, your words, your teachings, a person's experience could have more happiness and less misery. Help me to be able to practice Maranam, or the remembering of what I'm about to hear. This child going and say it. If you know it, say it with him. If not, say a praise in your mind.
Redhi Sedhi Data Sedhi Sarana Varana Vadana Sumiro Barambar Madan Karana Ke Lal Ko Ganapati Kripa Nidan ज्ञान आनि आनंद भवन देहु मोहि वरनान वरनौ भाषा भागवत जय शिव आनंद कान भूतनाथ भव भय हरना भक्ति विषय निर्वाण गौरवरन मंगल करना हे ब्रज चंद मुकुंद ब्रजभूषण दूषण हरना कटहो भव भय पान चरण शरण ले अनाकरा जय 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 जगदीशा श्वेत शेष महेश अजा महिमामित बेवा वेद भेद जानत नहे रेधि सेधि दाता सेधि सरन वारन वरना सुमिरो बारंबार मदन करन के लाल को सुमिरो बारंबार मदन करन के लाल को।
प्रेम से बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Kapil continues to talk to his mother and he says, "O daughter of a king, there is another way that a person can practice a prayer method that would allow you to find God in a way that is very personal, very private, very quiet, and it allows the person to practice it regardless of the condition of your body. In order to do typical worship, a person has to fast, prepare themselves, mentally be stable. So if a person is lost in depression, if the person has something like ADHD where they cannot focus, the prayer or the content of that prayer is not going to be the same as if the person is stable. Being able to understand the mantra or the purpose of the fasting, the content or the quality of the prayer is not going to be the same. So what to do if maybe, for example, in today's world, the possibility or the tendency to have a large intestine problem, IBS, Crohn's disease, is on the rise. So when people have gastrointestinal problem now and they are running to the toilet too often, they are unfit because of the urgency. They cannot sit for prayers properly. Some people in this day and age, when you talk about Kali Yuga, imagine your body is working against you and it is robbing you of the opportunity to pray. So the other night when we were talking, we asked, how come you have 5 people walking around the box? But in COVID, I saw one person. If I look at India, I saw one person. It Israeli could be one person, but the other guys are back up. If in case, in my example, the person eat or drink something that affect the stomach and now they have diarrhea, bacteria on the rise. Kali Yuga says that what the enemy looks like, it seems as if there are more germs and more bacteria now plaguing the human race than any time before. In addition to that, things like cancer, growth, polyps, etc. on the rise. So the person, I don't know, young children may not know about this, but there's something called a stoma bag, where because of the condition the person finds herself, the doctor goes just on the side where the stomach is, on the left-hand side, just where the rib cage come down to the stomach, makes an incision and puts a port. Don't feel like going gross, but I'm being honest for children to understand. And that becomes the place where the excretory or the person uses the number 2. People are becoming so sick that now that becomes the way for the body to expel the waste. It is a very difficult condition because to maintain, to clean, the person scorn themselves, they doesn't want to come in public place. Definitely they can't sit down on that low bench because of how the stomach is. To even consider praying. What happened to that person when they want to pray? And they can't fold the foot, they can't take part in prayer because you are uncontrolled. As something come in your stomach, it coming out into this plastic bag. And you have to be in such a way, you're constantly watching the bag to see if it's full. You are not in control of your body at all. In a case like that, how does a person like that pray? People like that, they get themselves in some very dark moments. When you go to the hospital to pray with people, they lost 1 toe, 2 toe, 3 toe. Sometimes people think the next toe might be the cause of the death. Baba, we lost the foot now. The infection might kill them. But only the person or the family members know the truth. When the person gets it in the head, oh God, I lost a toe. The doctor say, without my big toe, I will not be able to walk or hold balance properly. In my whole life, I never valued my big toe. I just thought, well, it's there. Check yourself. The day that big toe is there to keep your balance when you make your step to hold. As you make a step forward, you'll fall. So the person lying on the bed healing. But this, how can I walk again? How? Better I dead. Depression has killed them faster than any infection. When that person reaches in that position, how they going to pray? Do you have any idea how many people say, Pundit, you see that driveway you have? I can't come in that place. People are faced with different things. People, if we wasn't doing Sada Yag, a day like this, because I'm talking more, because we are singing for this whole jug. People who have Shakti, when they're knocking drum, and there's different things happening with you, Pundit, we can't come in the temple, you know, we're going to embarrass ourselves. So no drum, for different reasons. I have a pacemaker, the loudness from the speaker, the way how the prayers get so loud, I'm feeling like my chest want to burst. I don't think I could come in here, Yag. When people reach in different predicament, how to pray. So Kapil is telling the mother that there are different methods and you have to find your method. Let me explain to you a method that only requires your breathing. In Western culture, you will hear people talk about yoga, pranayam, but it is really tickle your brain how that pranayam, the way it is presented in America or Canada or the UK, when they put English to the Sanskrit practice, how that translate into Hindu prayer, where now we want to uplift your soul. Tonight, this afternoon in this chapter, you're going to understand that very briefly. So he says to her, let me describe what is called dependent yoga. Yoga again does not mean stretching or anything like that. Yoga means a walk, a pathway, a directive, a pavement between you on this side and God on that side. Some people like to sing, some people like to do puja, some people like to do seva. This one now, I am depending on the breath. If death, in a previous conversation, death is defined as the two breath, the two air, type of air separating in the body. And when one leaves, the person is considered to be dead. But if you consider what is to resuscitate the life or to bring back the soul in the body using shock therapy, etc., it is possible to bring back the soul in the body. This is why we just make a big fuss for funeral, burn the body so that the soul is not tempted to come back. We clarify that Hinduism does not have a problem with resuscitation, blood transfusion, organ donation, usage of organ transplant, or any type of life-saving mechanism. I think Tuesday we was talking about Hinduism developed rhinoplasty and different surgeries that help people breathe. So in our dharma, we have no issue with that. In other dharma, other religion, people wear bracelets. If I am dying, we came across this in COVID, if I die, do not resuscitate me as per my religion. If I am dying, do not give me blood, let me die. God wants me to die, let me die. People have this practice, but as Hindus, this is part of our tenet, that this birth, this human form, is brought about by a lot of work and effort. So when the person gets it, you do what you have to do to prolong this life. That entails eating healthy practices, engaging in maintenance of the body. And if you become ill, there's no problem if you take medicine. So she says, please describe to me what this method you are talking about. In the first part, the person using their intelligence should gradually prepare their mind, and the person avoids distraction. One way a person does this is to be quiet or go in a quiet place. They search for quiet. There are some people that enjoy noise, the distraction of noise, in order to sleep. In today's world, there are people who suffer from different types of autism, and me and you might never, ever need noise, hard noise, they call it brown noise, to sleep. It is a way to shanty the mind. The healthy person, normal, when I say normal, understand what I say. Normal person could take quiet or the sound of rain, which is green noise, and sleep. But when a person have different problems, when the brain is prone for epilepsy, they need a different wavelength to shanty the brain. The person finds the type of, I am saying, the wavelength or noise to help them focus. Through contentment, it is easily attained. Through devotion, taking out different type of problematic food. Imagine you want to stay stable, and you're going to Gita and you come across the reference to onion and garlic. Just two things I'm talking about, onion and garlic. And he does say here purity in food, but it doesn't mean vegetarian alone. The onion, for example, the problem with it is if I'm going to say prayers as a married man, the zinc inside the onion is the main or the core of testosterone, the hormone that makes a person lusty. It makes a person very edgy and quick. The blood is just as the blood would make the person sexually active, it makes the person high-tempered as well. So if a person is fasting and you are trying to timber down and calm down in every way, sexually, your temperament, etc., you take out the onion. Without the zinc, the testosterone cannot shoot up. So the person is containing and curtailing their sexual energy. So that with this heightened state, but in no way out of control, I am going to offer my prasad or my hawan. In a lot, if not all, religious practices or sacrifices, yagya, the person contains this type and other types of energy. Different type of abstention, keeping the person free from any type of disturbance. The person sits to do this type of prayer. The person is growing slowly to focus, let go of everything else. You ever see people do prayers and whilst they're offering the prayer, they're studying who walking through the door? Or with the pot de tanti, with the rice, for example, normal, relevant, arguably, things, but it is distracting constantly from what you are trying to do. People yell at children, typical victim in this thing, shut up and sit down. But you get distracted by other things, not only children. There is something called taciturnity. Taciturnity is where you are practicing silence. It's a nice way of saying vow of silence. But silence don't only mean this. The silence is the form of the prayer where I am making a conscious decision that I am not going to communicate. I could be silent, but I'm busy texting. I'm silent, but I'm busy writing your note in a different way, still in the head, thinking. When the person is not inclined to talk and bringing control to the senses, the person by now is controlling the mind. I am not studying who is in the back. I am not studying what they need or what they came to tell me. Bottom line, I'm doing prayers and I am not communicating with anybody. In this way, the person is preparing to practice breath control. Now that the person is ready, prepare the seat. When we did in this Skanda of Bhagwat, how Lord Vishnu come with the boar head in this picture here with Hanuman, Varaha, or the origination of Kush grass from that form footprint in the battlefield. The person is to suppose whenever going to offer, what's up on the doing Hawan, where he's sitting, in order for the spot to be prepared or blessed, the best thing is to have other things like deer skin, like what Lord Shiva is sitting on. But the Kush grass, because of the Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu content, sanctify the spot, purifying the spot, preparing the spot to host you and to hold your energy, safeguarding you and protecting you from the touch of unrighteous. This is the key point that in Kali Yuga people is pulled shortcut with. You don't prepare the spot properly or use the same spot, you will not have the same focus or the same energy. For example, of how Kali Yuga is busy. People doesn't understand the value of the Kush grass. Das and Buddha will tell you, don't worry, give me extra $5 and I will bathe your the dead body, your family. You don't go and bathe your family. You don't go and make sure we talk about the panch gavya or the 5 things that come from the cow urine, etc. Pull a shortcut, no problem. Now there, you are sure if they put in the Kush grass in the coffin or the gobar. So when the body moving from the funeral home on the way to wherever your house is, whatever touch it, it don't matter, small thing. When we reach by the house, make sure you have all the gobar on the floor and the Kush grass and the till and make sure that spot good. But when you're leaving from that spot to head to where you're burning, whether cremation, crematorium or cemetery ground, depending, again, the body is is able to be touched, it accessible. But the person who understands the preparation on the spot using the kush grass based on what we talk about, make sure before they put the body in the coffin, if it's to dab a little bit, if we are broad, you just crush it, the go bar, like a biscuit, because you just buy it off eBay, hard, dry, and you crush it. And you put at least or whatever you could get, kush grass, now they sell kush grass, tea bag. And if you live in a part of the world that you don't have it, tear it and just sprinkle it because you know the value of it. It doesn't say when it dry, it is less effective. Truthfully, if that is what you could get, you use it. Pandit is sitting on kush grass like how me and you should be when getting ready to prepare. The person could use a comfortable cushion or whatever is necessary to seat themselves, making the body become comfortable. If the person could use Sukhasana or Padmasana or different asana where you are folding your foot in different way, good. If because of age, arthritis, or whatever is the case, and the person cannot sit flat on the ground or do the bending, it is not necessary, because you could imagine a man trying to put the foot to do a prayer and they constantly catching cramp. For this reason, the rule exists. Sit where you're comfortable. There's no problem. Just let the bedi be a little higher than your private part. So if now you end up with a table, that is the best deal, because your legs are under the table height. So where I put my God or my murti, there's no contradiction or disrespect. But what we just try to do is to put the bedi on the ground and you they high up on the pirha or the chair. And we just force the pirha low, Baba, me want to sit down on a chair. If you're comfortable, how you going and focus? Who it is you're fooling? People or yourself? But you're busy doing prayers, and we do prayers yet we're just talking about sitting down, but we get it wrong constantly. So if the person say, because I'm an age, I need to put it on the table, I want you to understand from Bhagwat, he says, go ahead, just make sure you're private, not in line or higher than the murti. In this way, Slok 9, the person practices Purak, Kumbhak, Rechak, a breathing exercise in the reverse order the person uses to purify the spirit. I'm going to explain that for you. Purak is when you inhale. Inhaling with this breathing exercise entails you breathe like a baby. Breathing right now. Try it. You ever realize when you breathe in, put your hand on your stomach. The belly just pull in. Right. When you watch a baby breathe, when you breathe in, the belly just push out. So it's a different type of, exaggerating here for you to see, push out the belly. And when you breathe out now you pull up the diaphragm. So the breathing now, imagine I take my hand and I'm pushing it between my rib cage where the diaphragm is, and I empty the lung. In doing it, Purak is the inhale step, Rechak is the exhale step, Kumbhak is when you're breathing. So how this supposed to go? Belly out, me breathing, a hole in the air, like Kumbhak where you hold the air. Now I'm going to Rechak, exhale, and it has something called Shunyak. Shunyak is when you exhale and you feel, hold, don't breathe yet, don't pull yet, wait. That is the full cycle. In, hold, out, hold, them 4 steps. In doing it, this is called Shavas Yoga, where you are using the breath exercise, the breath which is given because of the whole katha where we talk about Lord Vishnu creating the breath and how that air helps you to burn the sugar in your body to fuel your brain. So when you control the breathing exercise and you regulate by properly oxygenating your blood, the person starts to think and see clearly. So people practice this pranayama or breathing exercise to help with the ability to calm down. You never see somebody panicking and they tell them take a deep breath, hold on, breathe. Breathe in a plastic bag, you get something. And the breathing slows the heart rate, slows the behavior or the panic attack from advancing. The person that practice this type of yoga, the brain first, because of the proper oxygenation, the burning of the sugar or the glucose in the brain becomes pure. And because you are constantly focusing on the breath, the person thinks only about the breath and how they are breathing. In this yoga of breathing, it have different type. Dirga pranayam is when you are breathing like what I just talked about with the diaphragm, like a baby. Nadhi pranayam is when if you ever go to prayers and you see the pundit and they are breathing through the different nostrils. It is an entire science when you're getting off the bed. You ever see when people use their hand like this to call Saraswati, Lakshmi, Durga? Before we brush teeth, bathe, etc., whilst you're on the bed, dear God, bless me with this energy. So after they say the prayer, one particular prayer, they just do so. So now the person sit up and they're getting ready to make their first step off the bed. Sanatan Dharma says there's a principle to do everything. We talk about bathing and how to do it. Now the person is checking to see this side, that side. If you look at your nostril, one side always clear, one side always obstructed. Depending on the day, it could be either or. In this pranayam, if just saying my right hand side is clear, put your right foot down first. Stand with that. If it's this side, left foot. So the person is developing a discipline of paying attention to their breathing apparatus. I can't study anything else at the moment. But in it, dear God, bless my foot. Let me see. Okay, right foot, left foot. And for that moment, I am steady there. I can't be angry. I can't be yelling. I can't be cursing. I can't be studying other things. In that moment, I am on God. God bless me. And now let me move, next step. Let me move forward with your blessing to get through with whatever I am doing. Brahmari pranayam. If you ever hear people in their breathing practice, or you see it in a TV show where the person is going, describe Brahmari meaning like a bird. The person is going a breathing practice where you are making a song coming out. You just hear it when women are training their breathing in pregnancy. Ujjayi pranayam, the person makes a loud in the breathing. It is referencing the sound of the ocean. It is used when people have epileptic shock, epileptic attack. People use it to calm down the magnetic flux in the brain. When the person use the phone too much, people who have that trouble, they have the tendency to, and they bite, not to make light of it, to bite and mash up their own tongue. So when they feel the head getting heavy, the doctor tells them, okay, you have to calm down, you have to deal with this. One way of doing it is this breathing exercise so that you control your mind and it go pass, it go pass, it go pass. In the same way, the pregnant girl, when the tenor of the contraction is coming, the doctor will teach her you have to focus on your breathing while the pain is there and your tendencies to bawl and you know what to do, or you do something erratic. Practice this breathing with your diaphragm, short, quick breath. And you breathe like that so you'll survive the pain. And when the tension by the lower part of the belly release, you're going to take the deep breath you could hold. But until then, short, quick breath. So the person trains how to breathe to survive the trouble they're going through. Imagine the panic of drowning. When he created, according to Bhagwat in this text, the person is drowning. Imagine we talk about lung infection or physical drowning. When panic sets in, the person drowns. If the person stays calm, Keshava cannot swim to save his life. Think what I say. Plane crash, we in the water, we in the sea. Fear will make me panic. I will scatter, I will get all how, and I will drown. If, however, I stay calm, control my breath, and you realize you could float, you're in salt water, you're buoyant, you will end up flat, floating carefree. But panic and trouble breathing will make you sink. Imagine if I control my breathing in the ocean, how far will this reach in my arrow? You will float. As heavy as I am, breathing makes a difference in your buoyancy too. So if the person calms down and they have that training, I will not drown. 10 to 1, that breath will cause trouble. When he is teaching this, the mother is asking, if this is how you do it, you couple good behavior with this practice. Pratyahara, Dhyanam are also used, different things. So the mother asks, what them words mean? I never hear these things you're talking about, and I don't know about this. These things are yogic practices that were developed. The person that we know in today's world in recent times is a very old fella. Recent times, Patanjali. His birthday is around 200 BC before Christ. He's born in Varanasi and he developed from Kapil some of the things that we practice. Believed to be an incarnation of Sheshnag, he's worshipped as a god. So the Patanjali Sutras are 196 sutras that deal with these topics. The teaching of this type of breath and others to attain mukti by controlling your mind using your breath and your body. In his science, in his method, he uses 8 things to control the body. Yam, where the person restrains herself from unethical action. Niyam, observance of posture now. So you ever went to prayers and the pundit says sit upright, using all the chakra in your spine, propose your God, talk to your God, Shri Guru Charana Saru, but do it properly. Approach your prayer in the proper way. Asana, different ways of folding your foot. If you want to be happy, fold your foot like how mine is now and do your prayer. If you want mukti to have a different way, you could put your these many under your foot, like a closed circuit, and it comes back to your private. You're not crossing your foot so. Depending on the asana that you use, you will get different outcome. Pranayam, which we just talked, breath control. Pratyahara means the person practices, I want to go in a place quiet, like the forest for some people. In some people, they have a room in their home, what we call the puja room, where I don't want to hear the noise. In my case, the noise at the bar. I don't want to hear children. Don't put the TV in that room. I want to just sit quiet and just think about my thoughts, think about God, etc. Dharana means the person concentrates and they study, they read in their book, they take the time and they think in reading, not rush reading, but what is he saying? For example, dhyana means meditation. So sometimes if you go to a satsang and you hear somebody saying, Om, for example, or different things saying, or using different songs to meditate. And samadhi is defined as anything where it is encouraging the person to focus, to not study the body, but focus on the God and the divine. If we study yamas and niyamas, those first two words, ahimsa, non-violence, I don't want to be violent. Satya, I want to be truthful or practice truthfulness. People offering ghee and hawan, people offering gogol, that's nice. Sugar, karma says, how I give is so I'll get. But you could be lying. You could do the prayer, God, give me a blessing, I want to continue to cheat in my marriage. Dear God, I want to continue to be a hateful person. Only Indian people good. But are doing hawan too bad. But now the person is becoming a little more disciplined in their prayers. So I want to practice truth. God watching me, I want to be truthful. Truthful is God live inside of everybody. So you are living the discipline. Your prayer becomes, in just an example, your life becomes the prayer. I am going to practice not stealing. I am not going to take a plant leaf, not thief by the neighbor or your family, not that. Imagine when you go and you see pundits say, put a 5 cent on there and the neighbor need 3. Because you want to own it. Imagine this my neighbor one. I pick it, me ask nobody nothing. I just pick it. But I'll come by pundit artist and I'll say, I'll find my flowers. Karma say how I give it so I get, but the my one, like thief. Me, I want to do that. I don't want to take anything from you to offer in my prayers without owning it. Pundit, me, I want to take fruits, for example, on hire purchase. I have to buy it. When I own it, then I could say it's mine to give away. Brahmachari is where the person is practicing moderation of sexual energy before they offer anything. You just hear people saying, husband, wife, prayers coming up, we're going to be celibate for a period of time in preparation for the prayer. That is a form of offering. A parigraha is a method where the person is not hoarding or the person is not grasping. They don't want everything. But in this time, I am making up my mind. You just hear people say, I'm going to give dan or charity. Pandit, I had extra $5 and I would like to offer it towards the parsad. Pandit, me I have money, but home we had flowers. I would like to give this in dan. Pandit, we have extra bottle of honey and I would like to use it to offer in the panchamrit. That type of giving, but I am not saying, okay, I give you this because I could give you a salary. Think what I'm saying. I am giving you this, you have to do some seva or some work for me. That is not the same thing. That is when you are looking for something in return. I pay in your bar while you're paying this wall. That is not this. This is, I am giving you this, but I don't want you to even talk about it. I don't want no, in the voter tanks, you make sure and call my name. I don't want that. I am giving it. In fact, Pandit, shut your mouth and don't tell nobody what I give you. If I give 4 stick a cane, then nobody business. I do it, but I do it with the sight that God watching, nobody else. When you have that type of discipline, that type of lifestyle, we talk about doing puja yet, but you, the person, start to develop a mannerism that is pulling you closer to God. This is the part to explain what yamas mean, what he teaching him mother here. This is the part that says practice non-violence. This is where if the person, me and some aunties were talking before about Balidan. If somebody says, why is it? Because it is prayer. When people offer the hog, the goat, or the chicken, what is the issue with that? Besides the fact that the animal has to die for you to get spiritual progress, and there's karma in it. What is Bali? Bali is the act, not the item, but the act of murdering something. So the jiv, the life inside of it, whatever it is, it has to come out. So in the case of the animal, in one swoop, one cut, let go. In people in South India where it is prevalent, people consider it to be a great gift. In our text, like in Devi Bhagwat, it does talk about it, that meat could be used in worship. God does say, offer me a drop of water, a leaf, anything you want. Anything is the active word there. But you have to do it with belief and devotion. So it would be accepted. But because of the nature, the suffering, the problem with this offering, there's a certain amount of accountability with it. So in our text, it also says, let's say we offer something that is not sattvic. Understand that maybe you'll get blessing, you might get 50%, 50 marble, 50 diamond, whatever. If you offer sattvic offering, I'll get 100 diamond. When people offer coconut is a catch because it is still balidan. I could take the coconut like the baby there, you see the pundit and them worshipping the life. Why do you put the coconut? What's the Satyanarayana pit here? They just put the coconut on the kalash. Inside this nut, there is energy, life. Life that not like how me and you just fool each other. Me and you just fool each other that God had two hands. He looks like a human being. That is what I understand. So that is how I perceive God. But the energy is like the dear light in many discourses. Dear God inside the coconut, where you have the ability to make a tree or life. I worship you where you have no female features or male features. In this way, I bow. When you are to the coconut, I bow to you. People put the whole coconut in the fire during a matter, please accept it. When they're doing the wedding and they give the coconut, I'm a wedding coconut, the belief, the tradition, when I plant it, so long it growing so much a years of happiness we gonna have in the marriage. But when you are doing balidan, you'll see the person take the coconut and smash it. Where is that? Where that come out from? You'll hear elders ask, well, we should never break coconut like that. That is where you are committing, in my word, murder. I am killing it. You are destroying it. Why destroy the coconut? Couldn't you offer it like Parsad Baba? You could. But the person who is accustomed offering the bakri, the goat, the different animal, they want to offer a sattvic, but they have to offer the life energy. Otherwise, because of their practice, there's a certain amount of accountability. If they don't offer it, there is a tendency to lose family members, young children, different things does happen. So these people resort to breaking the coconut. It is destroyed, it's mashed up. It will never bear a tree again. The life inside, the potential energy inside the nut, dear God, you take that and bless me according. That is why it is break coconut. So now that you have the knowledge about the coconut, do you or will you, when you go Ganesh Utsav, crack the coconut? That is a decision that you have to make. All have blessing. Will you offer goat? Will you? People say, don't do that, that's bad. But that is from a place where you know what it is or why you're doing it, and I hear they say it bad. But if we are educating each other, and you understand that yes, it have good in it, people is do and they do see good, don't stop it. If you stop it, if your grandson don't do it, for example, you may see a decline in numbers or members of your family. Do it, you're going to see money fly straight up. Your business will flourish, that's true. Stop it, you might see the opposite happen. In one generation, the life will go, the business will go, etc. You decide. So now you are accountable for your decision, which is the correct way. For me, it makes sense. I'm going to offer my little sweet rice, and I'll be hunky-dory with that. Vindravan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Niyam, which is another word Patanjali, and it is echoed here in Kapil, Sauch. Sauch is where the person practices proper bathing habit. They practice proper cleansing, like you do it when you wash your hand before the prayers. But we do it also when you take, let me just say, midway the prayer, I have to use the washroom. What is the procedure for that, Baba? You take off the ring, go do the come back, wash your hand, put on the ring, continue doing your prayer. That is an example of such. The person who thinks, okay, well, let me just say, the morning for your prayers, you're doing stuff, you already had your shower when you went to make the parsad, and in the turning around, you get sweaty, your body gets stale. Shivratri night, you're going. Me abong to bed. That takes away from your prayer. That is a demonic. You ever notice children nowadays who lazy don't like to bathe? Shortcut bathe, shortcut brush teeth, it is as if you're living in an age where hygiene is a problem. Hygiene is study coming up as a problem. Hygiene, lack of hygiene, bad hygiene is a sign of demonic, according to Gita. When the person doesn't know what's the right thing, the right choices, laziness, lethargy, the person that want to get up and bathe, they have a problem. So in some parts of the world where you have the lowest frequency of bathing, like in the United Kingdom, people think it hard to bathe. But in South America where you have the highest rate of bathing for the day, 4 times for the day. That is part of their discipline, part of their prayer. So now I'm going to prepare myself to do puja. This is why after people sit for prayer in Bandara and they do outside and they come in inside, one of the reasons why they just bathe is to refresh the body. After secreting, sweating the different regions of your body, how am I going to offer myself and my parsad to my God when I stink? But for some people, stink is okay. Then understand, just as how you are robbing yourself of the opportunity to do the best prayer, to be sattvic, when you get halfway results, you vex. Santosh is where a niyam, where the person as their age, they stop praying, God, give me, God, give, let me just watch these pictures here. Lord Shiva used Mitranjay, give me health. If I go in and dead, don't let me dead. Saraswati Mata, give me a book. Help me in order, let me say somebody middle-aged, my wife's stupid, my wife cheat on me. Help me to forget. The only reason I'm doing prayers is to give me. Lakshmi, we said it in the previous session, she just give you 8 things. One of the things she just give you is memory. Mother doing your prayers is Diwali, give me. When the person reach an age and they have this quality called Santosh, is a quietness that is brought about because in their prayer they are very contented. They got to their offering a dar, for example. But I will find it just because I want to please you, I love you, I'm grateful, but me I want nothing. Today, I'm good. In your prayers, do you find time? Think what I'm saying. Do you at any point say, because we all have desires, but one day, let me just say Thursday prayers, my Thursday prayers are just giving you this. I am not in want of anything. It have simple examples of that, and it have more technical examples. For example, in the Gosine way, when people in this name die, after doing like how Pandit them doing them Hawan and you pulling the energy on the body, the person in the latter part of this, they say when people reach the Samadhi or live a whole life of doing good and pulling energy, they hone in the skill. Even the body, they care for it, but they still want to help. So the person does not burn, but the person does bury in salt, preserving the body. So imagine you dig a big pit and you put the Gosine in the hole, covering it with salt. So to preserve the body, that the energy that is contained in the body, let Mother Earth feed on it. To maintain the same thing we was talking about, the carbon cycle, the water cycle, the different, it must not drought. People must have food, the earth have to get it from somewhere. If you see, this in the Hare Krishna movement, the Prabhupada, on YouTube, if you go, if you never saw it, that is one example of somebody that was buried in salt. And when you put them in the ground, that is left for people who have done different quality of prayer, and they want to help the environment of Mother Earth. Vrindavan Bihari Lala ki Jai. After talking and explaining how when you do all these internal, external, the way you think, the way you prepare yourself, external, how you sit, how you breathe, etc. The person is able in all this what we're talking about. Imagine you have to train yourself to be very careful with how you are breathing, how your breath going. You cannot study, I wonder what unseal in the grocery boy. If you are not careful, you're doing the prayers with your hand, but not with your head nor your heart. And that's the problem. It takes a special person to reach to this height, because you have to be very disciplined to account for your thoughts. When the person reaches this height, the person starts to find happiness in quietness. In this time, the person achieves Vishnu in dream, in their thoughts, in their conversation. When you say, Vrindavan Bihari Lala ki Jai, Bihari was the person when he talk, when he closed your eye and he talk. Banke Bihari, Banke was the first name. Banke Bihari Lal. When he said, Krishna, where you come? The man's prayer is so pure that Krishna and Radha would appear in Vrindavan, and for the duration of his prayer time, he would sing and write poetry every day. So his thought was Krishna and Radha is coming, let me just say 5, 6 o'clock. So whole day he writing poetry, like the 92-year-old uncle who come from table and who sing for we for who was here. Whole day he penning, the words must fit in the couplet. So just like in the Chaupai, the last 2 words, watch your Hanuman Chalisa, the last line in these 2 words must rhyme. It must sound pleasing, it must have a good meaning. And Banke Bihari would do that every day. When 4 o'clock come, he go and he start to sit down and slowly breathing, no time to talk to God. When he talk to him, Krishna ready for you, Radha ready for you, come. Boom, they appear in front of him. What song if you write for we? Like children, part of his prayer, he would see he is bathing Radha, bathing Krishna, feeding them like a grandfather feeding grandchildren every day. So in that example, the person spends the time. And when you're done, just check yourself. When you're done with that exercise, the Lord of the universe come and eat from whatever roti and karaili you cook. Where you going and ask him? When Sudama reached in the house with Krishna, and Rukmani wanted to know how, look, this man, get up, this man is a king of kings, different territories, so they call him emperor. How did you get up and get so anxious to run, the crown fall from your head, to go and meet a homeless looking, beggar looking, macerated person by the gate? Now look, you're washing your foot. How? When Sudama see all of that, did Sudama have the mind to say, I want A, B, C, D, E, F, and like a wish list we just have? God come like Santa Claus. Dear Lord, please give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Instead, the person who have this meeting with God, the person gets so full, even if you had it in you that I want something, you have to shut him out because you're just quiet. Anybody who has a connection with God in dream, the God appear in front of you. A moment happen, you know your moment, you know where you feel, but according to text, the person just can't talk, you just stay quiet and you're just watching. That is part of this. It is a heightened form of devotion. And he says, Ma, when the person reaches to these heights, Slok 38, whether the body is young, whether the hair dye or not, whether the beard shave or not, it makes no difference to this person. When somebody asks, you pray to Lord Shiva a lot, how come Shiv Baba, watch Krishna, watch Ram, that is look well groomed? But Lord Shiva is Rasta. That here don't come, he care about that. So what he does do is close the eye and focus, and he does study what Lord Vishnu is doing today. He is lost in that type of thinking. For that reason, Ramayana said, the person who doubt Ram will lose me. I will never protect you. I will never support you. And that is why when Sati Devi doubts Ram is Vishnu, she is allowed to get herself in trouble subsequent to die. Lord Shiva abandoned she. The person does their duty, but they would be in a different way. So when somebody becomes Swami, for example, Swami means the person that does not hold to gold. They would give away gold. They are not concerned. You have a gold ring. You want to make sure when I die, that is for my daughter-in-law. That is not for my daughter-in-law. That is for my daughter, etc. That is something to keep. This person, if you ask him for it, a Swami by description, they don't hold it, they give it away. They don't hold to the family name, they give away that too. They do not be bogged down, like in this case where the father left the family. They don't hold in their heart the amorous love for wife, for children. Children, I reach an age, all they live, all their life. I am not going to tell you how to work, how to manage your marriage, how to train your children. Instead, you learn the way I learned in my time. So you are big. I think I trained you good enough. You do your stuff and let me focus with the little life I have on my God. So the person enters roughly the third ashram on the way to the fourth. But what you have in Kali Yuga, the parent want to treat you as if you are 12 years old. Managing your marriage, managing the children. Yes, she know how to train the children. My grandchildren don't pray. The perspective of the grandparent and the role is different. You are not the parent. If people act the age based on last night's discourse, if people allow people to learn and grow, the first day you make Sarah roti, you burn. But practice, 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 you develop the art. In the same way as prayers and life. But if somebody is always making the decisions for you, telling you what to do, how to do, then you are not in control. Then you will never be able to make decisions for yourself. So you are ill preparing the person. In my example, the day they have to make the Sada roti on their own, they do not know what to do. Kali Yuga is when you lack that vision and you are not training your children properly. In chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, Kali Yuga is defined when a mother stops teaching, stop grooming children, when the women of society stop passing on the trends, the traditions, why we do certain things. When a mother says, listen, go pick up your book, I will cook, for example, every day. The day the child have to cook, how they go cook? They only know one thing, read. They don't know charity. They don't know time management. They don't know you could get up, go, take care of a pet, clean the house, and then go to school, then go to work. But when fast forward, the girl has to marry now, and she has a home. She has in today's world a whole career. You cannot be a mother, a worker, and a wife. You could only do one thing. So people tend in Kali Yuga to melt. And this is why he attacked the family structure last night. He says in Kali Yuga, the family life, the marriage will break because it's too much. But where it became too much is the training you get. Because it is possible in our life. Our grandmothers had 20, 25 children, 10 cattle. Water was in a pond. It was in a pump. And somehow they still made time to do everything and pray. In a way that me and you are still striving to pray. When somebody talks about Kali Yuga, consider we have more. You could pull up Bhagavad Gita. You don't call it pundit, pull it up on YouTube. And it playing, but less people listening, less people learning, and definitely less people practicing. Vindravan de Harilala ki Jai. He says, Ma, if the person do these things, just like how the Havan would have the ability to hold the fire, because of the content of the wood itself, it wouldn't suppress. If we throw ice in the Havan, the fire can't light. If we throw metal in the Havan, it can't light. But put the right wood and the fire will blossom. It will come out from the wood as a big old flame. It will transform now from wood to ash. In our Dharma, Bhasma or Vibhuti or the most blessed thing comes from this calm, neutral wood that is sitting harmless. But if it gets into the right environment or the right way, the same wood becomes something that everybody want to drink, everybody want to bathe with. The Bhasma that we get in tomorrow when the Yag finish starts off as inertia, as something as simple as wood. You could touch it, play with it. You could bathe with wood if you want, but it wouldn't have any benefit on your life. But transform the wood through the fire and the mechanism of prayer. And the same Bhasma Lord Shiva want to wear it on his body. We believe it takes off sickness. You go by a Sai Baba Ashram and they talk about Vibhuti. That Vibhuti is constituted by different wood. The gobar from the cow, so it's silky. You will hear people say you're sick. Eat some, drink some, bathe with some, and you're good to go. If you become like the firewood, then the little troubles and struggles that you're facing, utilizing like these things, these methods we're talking about, the person could do the prayer, if they think right, could be very beneficial. Otherwise, we're really spiritual imposters. You look like you're doing the prayer, but I studying, I wonder when KFC got a sale, boy. Your mind could go all over, but you're doing prayers. But if you get honest with yourself, you're going to see where you is your own enemy, Bhagavad Gita. You're doing the prayer, but you're fooling yourself. You're really fooling yourself like Ravan. I'm doing Lord Shiva prayers, but me a living right, man. So it come a point where you have to account. You have to be honest. And when that truthfulness start to come out, you're going to see a difference. That is where you start to get that Ashta Siddhi we talk about, Anima, Lagima, where Hanuman Baba get from Shriram. That is how you get it. Prem se bolo Mahapati Mahadeva ki Jai. So Bhagwat is where the person, just to go over what we talk about in the first day. Bhagwat is described that in Kali Yuga, it is the way, it is the method to rid sin and by and large get rid of the misery. Hence people do it, although it is a lot of work and sacrifice, cost. In Kali Yuga, a person will practice the prayer, they will have the devotion, but don't ask them why they do what they do. In Bhagavad Mahatyam, like one book, in Ramayana, it is described, in my opinion, Kakbhushan put it better in Ramayana. He's saying, Kali Yuga, the person has bhakti like armor on the body. Every day you get up, you are in a fight. Sickness, trouble, the bandit, different things are attacking you. So the poor person now, put on the armor and going to fight. The sword or the weapon that you're going to use to defend yourself is the knowledge or the gyan that you could use to protect or to get through your fight. But in Kali Yuga, we have no weapon. You have no knowledge. So you're doing what you're doing, but me and who are doing it for. This is why we take the time, no matter where Bhagavad, not only with me, but wherever it have a Bhagavad, you take the time to go. Every step you make is so much and so much a sin you're burning. Tomorrow when they tote in the book and we did the step where they bring the mud from, in our case, the savannah is right there. Tasa and tote back and all them things. Tomorrow that is what we're doing when we break in the mandap. After doing all this prayers, sitting down for all this amount of puja, people want to go back, to be quite honest. The normal life, sexual habit, non-vegetarian, who just drink alcohol. In case I break my fast, I don't want trouble to come. So I have to end it properly. So tomorrow you will hear Gita Mahatyam, you will see different Shanti part, the cook, anybody who assisted and they hear, go take part and they go walk. Remember Bhagwat, what Bhagwat means? The book that has the body of Bhagwan. Bhagwan, Lord Vishnu. What is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is the form. They just make a fuss about the form. The Gita book is the form that when the person touch it, the person bow to it, worship it, give it, do whatever. With Bhagwan, I get Bhaga. Bhaga is defined as a gaseous Lakshmi. Milk is defined as liquid Lakshmi. So Lord Vishnu is lie on the milky ocean. When you understand these little things, somebody will say, I show him Krsna, go to the press. I had to put milk in this dar. Well, if you put in the dar to get the blessing, yeah, nothing compares to milk. For example, if we are counter-attacking the ignorance, the only thing we win is knowledge. When Pandit was talking about doing prayers, if somebody come to you, you have a little prayers by your house, and the person reached by the door, I just want to talk to auntie, I just want to talk to uncle, they're calling down your phone. And you will hear every grandmother say, take off your phone, don't text. You're doing prayers. You can't talk to the person, you're doing prayers. I don't know if you say, if one of these children say, why it wrong? Think what I'm telling you. It have a rule that when certain people dead, when you hear they die, you become unclean. So during prayer, when you're doing your worship, you don't take news, phone call a person, hold on, where it is here, hold on. They're doing prayers. As the prayers finish, you could talk to them, you could meet them, they will take the call, they will call you back. Everything arguably important. But if you go and you hear it, it is as if for the lady, she monthly cycle come midway the prayer. Spoil. Stop. If you continue, you're doing unclean worship. For that reason, even if we're doing jag and somebody in the proper protocol, so it has happened, people doing jag and somebody die midway the jag. In that scenario, when you start, this uncle don't do push through your jag. They will come, pick up the body had to wait, finish the jag, then do the wedding, then do funeral. If somebody die while funeral going, somebody blood pressure go up and the person fall down, do not tell the boy and the girl that death happened throughout the wedding. Then inform who that they do the prayers clean, then attend to that funeral. If in Yag you don't get the information, when somebody go teach you what to do, when you're in trouble, when your head hot and I don't know what to do. For this reason, when we get the opportunity to sit down and talk good and godly thing, this is the purpose. All these practices and more are found in Bhagavad. But if Bhagavad for you is only story time, only Christian lift a hill, eat some milk, if I do some cattle, you now start to scrape the surface. This is our third Bhagavad, and tonight it's going to close. Tomorrow with Gita from 8 to 9:30 we finish. All the Baba coming. And for people who we're doing it for 7 years, and the purpose is when people have different karma in the family, when people have different trouble in the family, Bhagavad is used. You will hear people tell you the corrective, the praschit method. Do Bhagavad for 5 years, 7 years, people, all the men in your family dying. Things are happening. People in COVID didn't get to do proper ritual. You have to remember, don't forget, I thought I was burning my relative. Remember, you couldn't open the coffin. And you burning John, whoever. You offering ashes, you doing turban, and the whole thing, you're dead still in the fridge. So it had many, many cases like that. People who are supposed to burn the dead, when they didn't lay in your burning mass grave, they just throw the body. You didn't get to see a last, you didn't bathe them, you didn't do none of that. So it have to have a time and a place to fix it. So as communal open chauti yagya, people get together like this and they use it to correct a wrong. I don't know, Baba, how we will fix that. It have no body again to do funeral. How do you do it? I never get to come home. I was living abroad. I didn't have papers to travel. And I did not get to come home and do my diligence as a son or a daughter. What could I do? And this is where Bhagavad is used karmically to counteract for the deficiency I have in this life. Before this life leave my body, I don't want to owe anybody. I don't want to be negligent. So you better yourself, yes, that's easy to see. But it also counteracts problems in your life. This is why we do it. Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Everybody, let's stand as we do closing arti on this 20th session. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam Deepam grihana devesham Trailokya timirapaham Jai Jai Bhagwat
भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से
है तारती
ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला ये अमर ग्रंथ मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने हरिगान यही वरदान यही हरिगान यही वरदान यही ये जग की मंगल आरती पापियों को पाप से जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत, पापों को मिटाने वाला, हरिदर्श दिखाने वाला। ये शांति वन पुनीत, श्रापों को मिटाने
वाला, हरि दर्शन
है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी,
है सुख करनी है दुख करनी।
ये मधुसूदन की आरती, पापियों को पाप से। जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से। भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से। ये मधुर बोल जग फंड खोल, सन्मार्ग दिखाने वाला, बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला। ये मधुर बोल फंड खोल,
दिखाने वाला,
बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला। श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही, श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही। प्रभु की महिमा की आरती, पापियों को पाप से है। बोलो भागवत भगवान की है
आरती,
पापियों को पाप से है तार। जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों को पाप से है
तारती।
पापियों
को पाप से है तारती,
पापियों
को पाप से है तारती। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी,
श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी।
जय नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा,
जय नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा।
गोविंद जय जय,
गोपाल जय जय,
गोविंद जय जय,
गोपाल जय जय।
राधा रमन हरि,
गोविंद जय जय, राधा रमन हरि गोविंद।
नाम शिवाय नाम शिवाय,
नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय,
नाम शिवाय नाम शिवाय,
नमः नमः शिवाय
नमः शिवाय, नमः शिवाय। Dear Lord, as we complete this 20th session, one more session to go. It really feels like this time run away from me. This year, from 5-year-old to 15-year-old, they made parsad, they trained. Hare Krishna, they make parsad with dragon fruit and pineapple and fig in the Mohan bowl. 5-year-old was turning pot and making parsad so that they could learn and train how to do it properly. Don't talk over the pot. We are hearing it in today's world, for example. For 20 session prayer and sheet team, God alone know what they make. I never saw shattering ball plantain ball in teriyaki sauce and different things, teaching young people that getting married, young children, how to cook, clean, how to bless the food, how to do it, how to batch and plan and prepare. So it came like a summer camp, all these different recipes, so that when you finish and all these parents go home with their children, the children definitely could make sada roti and different things. We had 4 now from grown people, adult people that wanted to learn how to prep for their prayer. The little children, I think the youngest now I had is 6 years old. How to make love and how to put out everything and do it in a timely manner. But in this year, we did not have one musician. I have a whole set of musicians in this temple. I have a lot of professionals. But throughout our culture, in our country right now, a lot of pundits are faced with poor attitude when it comes to musicians. And I thought it was high time that we do Sada Yag and show people that Yagna does not necessarily have to be an orchestra or a concert, but a place of training. So what if when you go to Yagya, you learn something rather than being entertained? The purpose of prayer is supposed to edify you and leave you in a place of quietness and calmness. And for far too long, it's going down a road that we getting pulled away from that. If we spend the time learning, and these children had to beg to get to sing a little chant, to sing a little song. And I guess the inherent lesson is that when you get to sing for the Lord, do it for God. Make a mistake, that's fine. But do it with the right attitude based on our conversation today. As our Yagna is finishing and all this training is finishing, dear God, thank you for all those that assisted with the flowers and the leaf. Imagine for some people, they come in Yag, they understand Bhagwat, and they wouldn't bring a tulsi leaf for their murti. When in long time days, our practice until you go in prayers, don't go with your hand empty. What keeps a person from bringing our flowers to the same God you just call home? In little ways and big ways, we have to get back to basics and find room to improve, because in your life, the trouble doesn't take a holiday. In fact, it's getting more and more progressive, more and more defined in different ways, things growing in your body, death coming in different form, and you want to do less. Dear God, after all this internal, external talking about how I prepare myself for God, if it's just to pick up flowers in the next yag that I attend, the one here by Pandit Keshava is done. It finished. Bless me to take what I learn here, and when I go Sisters Road, when I go Diamond, when I go Matilda, when I go wherever there is prayer, help me to have the practice, the discipline. Lord Krsna, they call in your name, boy. I'm bringing our flowers for you. I'm bringing tulsi growing in my yard. We are more fortunate than people that do not have these species of plants growing by them. We have it free. But when you go to New York and other places and 3 bay leaf is $1 US, to bring flowers and leaf become expensive. But for us, it is readily available. And maybe because it's cheap, you take it for granted. God, if you give me the discipline that when I am coming to your house, I must bring something as an offering, you could help me in little ways, in big ways, train the children, the grandchildren in our families, so that the practices that we hold to, that we depend on, could be propagated properly. They could be continued. If Kali Yuga is when the mother stopped training, what I could be if my mother didn't train me, God, in the things that I know and do. As we wrap up this Bhagwat, God bless whoever lost a parent, the in-laws, the father-in-law, the whosoever, the teacher that teach you what you know. You alone know what you know. The dance teacher, the music teacher, etc. The mentor in the job, the people that show you kindness, and maybe not kindness so much, but patience. when you couldn't get it right and you was making all forms of mistake, and somebody say, you know what, don't worry, one day you'll get it. When you was burning all the roti, when you was the young daughter-in-law, and somebody said, don't worry, the Karaili are bound to taste so bad every day, one day you'll get it. When the mother-in-law, God bless you, had that kind of relationship, not everybody have it, but if you had a good relationship with the lady, God, today in my prayers, I can't pray for myself alone, but I remember the people that make me who I am. God bless me to grow and continue to grow, to be better, so that I could make these people that were here once proud. Together, everybody, as we say we final prayer. Tvameva Mata, Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka, Tvameva Vidya, Tvameva Sarvam, Tvameva Sarvam, Mama Deva Deva. Together, everybody. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Prem Savalo Mahapati Mahadeva ki, Pavana Putra Numana ki, Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki, Vindravan Bihari Lal ki, Jai Satya Sanatan Dharma ki, Jai 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, everybody.